air clings gentle to my tired skin. Porch boards sigh under my bare feet. Turquoise water stretches past what I remember. Sunsets used to promise, now they only accuse. Every wave repeats the same soft sentence. You were here once, and then you weren't. I loved you so deeply, the silence screams your name. Night rain listens while I whisper my fall. Photographs shaking in these cold hands alone. I loved you so deeply, the silence screams your name. Morning breaks slow over empty doorways and dust. Your laughter, you used to live in this life. Now it's just echoes against these quiet rooms. I waited, you didn't come back to me. If I had spoken when your eyes were leaving, maybe this house wouldn't sound so hollow. I loved you so deeply, the silence screams your name. Fading light stains porch where you stood. My trembling breath chases words I never said. I loved you so deeply, the silence screams your name. Some loves leave footprints deeper than the shoreline. Water returns, but it never restores. I sing to the wind like it carries confessions, hoping my apology reaches wherever you're sleeping. If I had held you longer through the breaking, maybe goodbye wouldn't echo this loudly. Now I see how my quiet cut you open, how my unreturned calls taught you to disappear. This sorrow is a tide I have to ride alone. Your absence speaks louder than any final goodbye. I loved you so deeply, the silence screams your name. Every quiet room turns into your shadow doorway. My trembling breath counts seconds, you'll never return. If I had spoken, would you have stayed longer? Fading light traces scars You left on my daylight. I loved you so deeply. The silence screams your name. In the calm, after everything, I finally hear you leaving.
Night rain, tracing rivers down the windowpane. Your ghost laughing softly in the quiet room. Cold hands on my knees, nothing left to hold. Fading light on the wall where your shadow stayed. If I had spoken, would you still be here? Or were you already walking through another doorway? Sometimes silence said more than our trembling voices. Sometimes loving you meant not calling you back. Sometimes loving you meant letting the silence speak. I waited, you didn't come back. Photographs shaking slightly in my tired hands. Your smile frozen mid-laughter, untouched by night rain. Every unreturned call rings inside my chest. My fault hangs heavy in the quiet air. If I had begged you, would it change anything? Or only bruise a part of you already leaving? Sometimes silence said more than our trembling voices. Sometimes loving you meant not standing in your way. Sometimes loving you meant letting the silence speak. I waited, you didn't come back. Through me, that last unfinished evening, your eyes already crossing some unseen bridge. My breath trembled, but my mouth stayed closed. I thought strength meant swallowing every frightened word. Now every quiet room repeats what I never said. I see you in empty doorways I never walked through. Your absence sits beside me like familiar night rain. The hurt has learned my name and speaks it softly. This breaking in my chest beats steady as breathing. Sometimes silence said more than our trembling voices. Now every fading light repeats what we couldn't say. Sometimes loving you meant not calling you back. Now I trace your name through the dust and shadows. Sometimes love loving you meant letting the silence speak. I waited, you didn't come back. I would have held you longer if I'd known how to speak.
Night rain tapping on the cracked window pane. Quiet room breathing with fading light. Cold hands resting on my empty lap. Your name hanging where the smoke once stayed. I trace the place your body used to be. Silence answers every question I never asked. I waited, you didn't come back. Your shadow still leans against my doorway. I waited, you didn't come back. Some loves only live in what we lack. Street lights flicker on that last slow evening. Your fragile smile pretending it wasn't ending. Photograph shaking in my tired hands. I saw the leaving hiding in your eyes. If I had spoken, would you have stayed? Or was your heart already out in the night? I waited, you didn't come back. Your coffee cup still stains the quiet counter. I waited, you didn't come back. Some loves only live in what we lack. Pain stops screaming, now it softly whispers. Your laughter drifts between the passing cars. I hold my breath when your memory answers. My fault echoes down these quiet rooms. I would have held you longer than my fear. Now the dark feels gentler than my reflection. Grief curls beside me like a tired friend. I learned some wounds need space to keep breathing. Letting go of you is how I stay. I waited, you didn't come back. Night rain dries, but your absence keeps falling. I waited, you didn't come back. Empty doorways learn the shape of my shadow. I waited, you didn't come back. Some loves only live in what we lack.
satin clouds hanging low over the faded house. I sit alone where your laughter used to wander. Salty air tastes like your perfume in winter. Photographs shaking inside me with every trembling breath. Empty doorways wait like questions I never answered. If I had spoken, maybe you'd still be here. Sometimes love leaves quietly, but the silence screams the loudest. Night rain knows every name we never said. Sometimes love leaves quietly, and the silence screams the loudest. I hear our last goodbye replay in slow motion. Unreturned calls echo through this quiet room. Your shadow sits beside me on this wooden bench. I waited, you didn't come back to me. If I had spoken, I would have held you longer. My fault lives softly in the spaces between waves. Sometimes love leaves quietly, but the silence screams the loudest. Fading light crawls across the floor where you were. Sometimes love leaves quietly, and the silence screams the loudest. Cold hands folded, I count the breaths I wasted. Too late for all the truths I buried. Night rain erases our names written in sand. I finally admit you were already walking away. Sky stayed indifferent while my heart begged it to break. Now the rain has thinned to mist on the shoreline. I lay our memories down like shells in the dark. Each one cuts then softens in the fading light. I see who I became when I let you go. Sometimes love leaves quietly, but the silence screams the loudest. I stand where water kisses my tired feet, whispering sorry to the waves that never answered. If I had spoken, I would have held you longer, while the silence screams the loudest inside me. I walk away slowly, leaving our echoes with the sea. Night rain taps lightly on the tired window glass. Fading light stains the floor with amber ghosts. I sit on these boards with cold hands folded. Quiet rooms know my name better than you. Every drop outside counts the breaths I wasted. Every shadow whispers words I never said. I waited, you didn't come back. Your name trembles somewhere behind my teeth. Photographs shaking in my unsteady hands tonight. I waited, you didn't come back. Silence answers softer than you ever did. Smoke once curled between us like a secret river. Your laughter lived inside my chest for years. Now unreturned calls ring out into night rain. Empty doorways echo with almost promises. If I had spoken when your eyes were leaving, I would have held you longer here in that doorway. I waited, you didn't come back. Your coffee cup still stains the quiet counter. Photographs shaking in my unsteady hands tonight. I waited, you didn't come back. Silence keeps your side of the story. There is no anger left, only trembling breath. Minor memories hum beneath my tired skin. I pour my grief into the darkening ceiling. Watch it rise like smoke, then disappear. Sometimes love is learning to hold your silence, letting the unanswered question stay unanswered. I see us cross-legged on this floor, hearts almost steady. Reggae humming low, your shoulder pressed against mine. Words we swallowed hard and slowly into distant continents. Now I live stranded between them, calling across water. I waited, you didn't come back. You didn't come back. You didn't come back. Now the night curls gently around my breaking. Every quiet corner carries your unfinished sentence. I waited, didn't come back. If I had spoken, would you have turned around? I would have held you longer until the fading light. Tonight I keep my silence and let you go. Above the sleepy harbor lights, bruised purple sky holds back its trembling breath. Salty breeze remembers what my mouth forgot. Empty doorways echo where your laughter lived. I trace the grain like rewriting our ending. Every splendor whispers you're not coming back. Night rain falls like confessions too late. Your name breaks softly in my mouth. I loved you enough to let go. Shoreline keeps everything I couldn't say. Our last goodbye still hangs in the air. Clip little words pretending they were gentle. Photographs shaking inside these quiet rooms of thought. I waited there, you didn't come back. If I had spoken, could we have stayed? Or were we glass already breaking underwater? Night rain falls like confessions too late. Your shadow leans against my tired memory. I loved you enough to let go. Harbor lights flicker where our dreams went under. Cold hands open, nothing left to hold now. I count my failings like lights on the pier. My fault sits heavy in the fading light. I would have held you longer, I know. Silence answers softly. Some losses stay unnamed. The rain is gone, but the benches remember. Moonlight draws silver lines through every regret I bury. I stand feeling the weight shift, not vanish. This hurt is mine now, not my enemy. Night rain falls like confessions too late. Inside me I walk the shoreline where our promises once slept. I loved you enough to let go, even when it broke me quietly in two. If I had spoken, time would still move forward. I'd carry you gently in the spaces you left. I'll leave my footsteps but not your memory behind.
Rooftop air tasted like gold's forgotten prayers. Fading light bruised the sky above the city. Cold hands on a letter with your trembling name. Every word a ghost pressed against my chest. I hear our laughter echo in quiet rooms.
but the echo breaks before it reaches you. I waited, you didn't come back. Those photographs shaking in my tired hands. Night rain on glass blurs your fading face. I waited, you didn't come back. Coffee steam once tangled with your morning smile. Sunlight slipped through cracked windows onto your head. Now empty doorways watch me pass without speaking. Every street remembers you better than I do. If I had spoken when the cracks were small, maybe our quiet wouldn't sound this loud. I waited, you didn't come back. Your name still burns the inside of my silence. Streetlights flicker like promises we never kept. I waited, you didn't come back. The night takes my voice then gives it back shaking. I confess to the dark what you never heard. Our broken vows float above these restless rooftops. Too late to hold you, not too late to wake. I sing to the distance where you disappeared slowly. See now how my unreturned calls built this distance, how my stubborn pride turned love into cold weather. If I had spoken, I would have held you longer. My fault hangs heavy in this thin blue air. I waited, you didn't come back. Now the city wakes while I stand here falling. Fading light inside me learns to live with shadow. Those photographs shaking still refuse to let go. I waited, you didn't come back. And somehow that truth is all I have left. I walk down alone, carrying the song you'll never hear. Oh. Flickering street lamp over cold hands and cracked concrete. I pull my jacket tight around this trembling breath. Your laughter haunts that small apartment, quiet and hollow. Empty doorways wait for footsteps that never return. I trace our names in fog on broken glass. Each letter blurs like nights I never answered. I waited, you didn't come back. Your silence is the only song that stayed. Photograph shaking in my almost steady hands. I waited, you didn't come back. The night rain starts soft on rusted park railings. Every drop sounds like something I never said.
We promised forever in a language now forgotten. Your warm hand slipping away plays on repeat. If I had spoken, would the light have stayed? Or were we already fading in that morning? I waited, you didn't come back. Your silence is the only song that stayed. Streetlights smear gold across these flooded eyes. I waited, you didn't come back. I tried to outrun grief through crowded daylight, filled every hour so I wouldn't hear you missing. But in this quiet room, the truth sits beside me. The pain is a shadow that finally knows my name. It's not my enemy now, just a slow companion. Under this wash-clean sky, I feel something fragile mending. Your absence still hums louder than every distant window. I hold the hurt softer like a photograph fading gently. My fault was fearing sorrow more than losing you. I waited, you didn't come back. Your silence is the only song that stayed. Now I walk home with night rain on my shoulders, letting the fading light show every unreturned call. If I had spoken, I would have held you longer. But I wait for nothing now, only the honest quiet. Sometimes the loudest love is the silence we accept.
Lit cafe, fading light on chip white porcelain. Empty chair across from me, still holding your outline. Night rain blurs the window, halos over strangers. My cold hands circle lukewarm coffee, trembling breath. I waited in this quiet room for your shadow. Every door that didn't open felt like my fault. If I had spoken, you might have stayed. If I had broken instead of looking brave. Our love was a song stuck in minor. If I had spoken, you might have stayed. Laughter hangs in corners, dust in yellow light. Unreturned calls sleeping silent in my pocket. Photographs shaking softly when your name appears. I trace your empty side, the vinyl booth remembers. I waited through the fading light and closing whispers. You didn't come back, rain did instead. If I had spoken, you might have stayed. could have reached you, and too late to hold you longer, too scared to beg. Now the echo of my silence wears your perfume. The quiet sits beside me, where you used to breathe. Under wavering streetlights, I finally see my reflection clearly. I was clinging to it, not the way you were hurting. I waited for time to rewind, instead of apologizing. The heaviest goodbye was to the man I pretended to be. If I had spoken, you might have stayed that evening, but every trembling breath chose pride over honest breaking. Our love stayed a song, stuck in minor forever. I waited, you didn't come back through that doorway. Now my cold hands hold only this fading light. If I had spoken, you might have stayed. I step into the night, carrying what I never said. Oh, oh, night rain on the rooftop, city breathing low, fading light on brick, broken windows, cold hands on nothing, just the empty air, quiet rooms inside me, louder than the street, every trembling breath tastes like your last goodbye. I waited in the drizzle, you didn't come back. I would have held you longer if I had spoken when your eyes grew dark. Photograph shaking in my restless hands, I would have held you longer. We were summer heat on cracked concrete sidewalks, bare feet, sunburned shoulders, careless plans for always. Now those days cut deep like shattered glass. I bleed through memories I still call home. Your name hangs heavy in these quiet doorways. I waited in the drizzle, you didn't come back. I would have held you longer if I had spoken when the light turned cold. Night rain keeps tracing your outline on me. I would have held you longer. Silence grew thicker than any angry word. Unreturned calls stacked up like unread letters. I tried to outplay the echo of your footsteps, but
but the quiet stayed heavier than sound. Some endings don't soften, they just sink deeper. Now I sit with the ache like a slow confession, your absence folded neatly beside my tired heart. I see my fault in every missed small moment, too late to change it, just early enough to feel. I would have held you longer if I had spoken when your hands went cold. If I had broken my pride before it broke us. Fading light remembers what my mouth left unsaid. Night rain keeps writing your name across my skin. I would have held you longer. With our ghosts, evening sun leaking through a narrow window. Dust hangs quiet like unspoken words. I sit on the floor with cold hands. Fading light draws shapes where you once stood. Every breath feels borrowed from another life. I touch the silence where your name should be. This room remembers what I tried to forget. Your shadow lingers in the quiet corners. My trembling breath breaks against the dark. Sometimes love just leaves you with silence. I trace old promises along the crack pane. Photographs shaking when my fingers find yours. Night rain whispers softly on the glass. I waited, you didn't come back. If I had spoken when your eyes were leaving, maybe this quiet room would still be warm. This room remembers what I tried to forget. Your shadow lingers in the quiet corners. My trembling breath breaks against the dark. Sometimes love just leaves you with silence. Empty doorways stare like questions without answers. Unreturned calls echo in my tired chest. taste bitter on my tongue. I would have held you longer than the night. Now the fading light feels kinder than my memory. I see you turning away in every reflection. My fault lives softly in each unfinished sentence. I carry your silence like a fragile confession. This room remembers what I tried to forget. Your shadow lingers in every breath I'm taking. My trembling breath breaks against the dark slowly. Sometimes love just leaves you with silence. If I had spoken, would you still be leaving? I learned to walk beside the ache you left. I'll keep breathing through the silence you left behind. Night rain gathers over the quiet pier. Fading light stretches long across the water. Cold hands resting on this empty bench. Trembling breath counting waves instead of words. I waited here while your shadow thinned. Too late to ask why you stopped calling. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. I never learned to fit them back. Your name still moves through this salt air. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. Empty doorways in my mind stay open. Unreturned calls ring out in my chest. Photographs shaking when my fingers remember. Your fading light lived inside my laughter. If I had spoken when your eyes went quiet, I would have held you longer in that silence. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. I never learned to fit them back. Your echo hides in these quiet rooms. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. I thought love meant fixing every fracture. Now I sit with them scattered around me. Night rain washes the blame from my hands. I whisper your name
like punishment now. I see it clearly, I loved you through distance. I heard your silence, still I stayed afraid. My fault was waiting for words you never owed me. Too late, I finally tell the truth to myself. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. I never learned to fit them back together. I trace each edge like a map of my failures. If I had spoken, maybe you'd still be here. But I walk on carrying our unfinished fragments. Some love leaves us holding broken pieces. In the fading light, I let your shadow go. Rust on rooftops, fading light across the town. Cracked sidewalks where our first laughter fell. Empty cafe chairs leaning into quiet doors. Cold hands on a warm cup, pretending I'm fine. Your absence hangs like dust in this closing room. A muted note. After everything we were, I hear the melody beneath the pain. Soft as your voice in the back of my mind. I reach for you in the falling rain. But I hear the melody beneath the pain. Photographs shaking in my tired hands tonight. Every smile rewinds, every word comes back wrong. You were quiet, calm in my restless storms. Now silence grows where our small jokes live. Your eyes that last night were already leaving. You stood beside me, somehow far away. I hear the melody beneath the pain. Like distant night rain on forgotten streets. I reach for you in the falling rain. Still I hear the melody beneath the pain. If I had spoken, would you have stayed? If I had listened, would your hands be warm? I waited, you didn't come back through that doorway. My fault echoes low in these quiet rooms. Some loves don't vanish, they just change their name. Beneath the street lamp our last goodbye finally breaks me. Trembling breath counting every word I never said. I would have held you longer against this fading light. Now every step forward walks through what we lost. I hear the melody beneath the pain, low and fragile like your last unread message. I reach for you in the night rain again, knowing you won't answer. Still my hands remember your cold hands, your fading light, my trembling breath, and I hear the melody beneath the pain. In this quiet, letting go is all I have. Fading light on weathered roofs and empty porches. Salt and damp earth cling to this quiet air. Your shadow disappears inside that crowded street. My cold hands rest where your warmth once stayed. I waited here while the sky turned bruise gray. Every unreturned call echoes through this small town. The hardest song to sing is to myself. I hear your name in every trembling breath. If I had spoken when your eyes were breaking, the hardest song to sing is to myself. Night rain stains the steps with broken halos, photographs shaking in my uncertain hands. Your almost smile blurs at the fragile edges. I trace your face like a map of mistakes. I waited here while our season slipped away. Too late to hold the words between us. The hardest song to sing is to myself. Your leaving walks these rooms with quiet footsteps. If I had spoken when your fingers loosened, the hardest song to sing is to myself. The sea keeps folding secret into darkened foam. I see my silence written in the waves. I was the one who slowly let you go. Afraid of my flaws, I hid behind distance. Now every whispered truth comes bleeding out slow. Tonight the shore feels closer than your memory ever will. I finally taste the fear that kept me distant. This reckoning sits heavy where your heartbeat once echoed. I would have held you longer, but I vanished first. The hardest song to sing is to myself. Each quiet room repeats the way you left. I waited, you didn't come back, my fault. If I had spoken, your eyes might still be shining. I would have held you longer through the fading light. The hardest song to sing is to myself. breathe your name once more. Then let night keep it.
Night rain hangs heavy over this quiet pier. Bare feet on splintered boards, salt on my skin. City lights smear like tears on distant glass. Fading light on the water mirrors my chest. Your name lives in every small breaking wave. I speak it softly, the sea never answers. You didn't come back, I still stay. Empty doorways in me, all left open. My cold hands keep holding disappearing shadows. You didn't come back, I still stay. Afternoons beneath that leaning palm feel close. Your laughter once tangled with the lazy breeze. Now unreturned calls ring out in my ribs. Photographs shaking quietly inside my head. If I had spoken when your eyes were pleading, maybe your silence wouldn't echo this loudly. You didn't come back, I still stay. Quiet rooms inside me, every window watching. My cold hands keep holding disappearing shadows. You didn't come back, I still stay. Kneeling in the sand, I trace your outline. Each grain slips away like something unsaid. I waited where the shoreline swallowed our promises. Trembling breath, counting waves instead of chances. My fault lives here, low tide and exposed. I remember your voice saying love needs steady truth. I hid my fear behind easy jokes and silence. If I had spoken, I would have held you longer. Now the night just listens, offering no reply. You didn't come back, I still stayed here waiting under fading light. I confess to the dark, my cold hands keep holding disappearing shadows. You didn't come back, I still stay. Between loss and acceptance I stand in shallow water, learning to breathe beside the space you left. I walk toward morning, carrying this quiet, unfinished goodbye.